Hi guys, welcome to a second day of RP ramblings for this week, and I just want to start by putting an addendum onto yesterday's episode. Addendum is the right word. Yep, addendum. Just to point out that when I gave those 4 types of villain, I didn't mean there can only be 4 types of villain. I don't want people coming at me saying, well, you don't have this level of villain. So, because people do that. People look at my campaigns now and go, well, where's that villain? So you don't need them, they're just there. They're just what makes sense to me. With levels of villain, you merge them, split them even more if you want. I mean, your adventure could just be defending the town from the minions. So the minions are the big bad of your adventure. The truly big bad villain behind it all could be coming to your PCs every other session, antagonizing them, like testing their strength. So mix and match, or just get rid of completely, whichever you want to do. I don't make the rules. I don't even think there are rules. So anyway, on to today's topic before I start rambling about that. Today's topic is going to be on planning and perspective. I'm probably going to go a bit more into perspectives and alignments and all that tomorrow. When I say alignments, I don't necessarily mean good and evil, but I'll get to that tomorrow. So, planning. Well, everything we do is a plan, really. I plan to come out here and talk to you guys. I mean, I never plan what I'm going to talk about, which is quite obvious from the ramble. Well, not true. I come out with the topic in mind. Come out with the idea, well, I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm going to let you in on a little secret about what I do before I start recording. I generally start wandering around about half an hour before I record, because I like to psych myself up before I do these recordings. And what that generally means is I spend a lot of time talking to myself and ultimately probably singing to myself in these glorious woods here. Luckily there's no one here today, so no one heard me. I was singing a bit louder than I usually do. Unfortunately, you lot are never going to hear me sing, so I'm sorry about that, but that's just a little insight in how these videos are made. I come out here, think about what I'm going to talk about, sing, and then hit record. So, and then when I'm finished, hit stop and probably sing a bit more before going home and uploading. What was I talking about? Planning, yeah. So everything we do tends to be planned out in some way, and that's the same with your villain. Well, that should be more important with your villain. And I'm going to talk about planning at every level of villain stage that I spoke about yesterday, so don't hate me if you don't have that level of villain. But I'm going to start, instead of yesterday when I was bottom going to the top, I'm going to start at the top and go down. I'm still doing hand movements. You can't see them, but they're just there. The magic of off camera. I wish I could edit this stuff. But so from the top, big bad, the big bad of your campaign, who's running the grand scheme of things, who knows everything, every aspect of everything. Well, no, big bad doesn't know every aspect of everything. I hate stories where the big bad knows exactly where the heroes are at all times and knows exactly what they're doing and can suddenly jump out in front of them wherever they are in the world and stall them or whatever. I don't like that. And I know, I love Wizard of Oz, and the Wicked Witch does that. So don't bring that up. Don't bring my love of Oz into it. I'm bloody taking myself off topic. Right. The big bad's plan well, realistically, the big bad's plan is the campaign. The campaign should follow the big bad's plan. Realistically. Because, remember, the heroes react to the villain. The heroes can't act unless the villain does something. Well, they can be proactive and go after the villain, but the villain, even then, the villain has to be there for them to go attack the villain. So, I'll bring the camera up a bit, not too close, but, so, generally, when you come up with a plan, it should be the campaign, and the villain won't have it super detailed, the plan. They might in their head, but they won't super detail it when giving orders or acting it out, because, well, metagaming terms, you as the GM don't want to over plan everything and seriously railroad the players, which is a bad thing, which I'll talk about in next week's video, because next week is going to be a series of videos that don't have a theme. So it's going to be the no theme videos week next week. That's going to be the theme of the week, no theme. So technically there is a theme next week, but there isn't. Don't bring me up on that one. So, but in terms of you, GM, who's ultimately playing the big bad, plan your campaign based on the big bad's plan. Write out what the big bad wants. What's the big bad doing there? Why is this campaign happening? And then you can plot out the different stages that the big bad needs to go through to get that thing, what they want. And then they're your thing, they're your aspects that's the plot. That's what your heroes are going to be fighting against. They're going to be fighting against the fact that the villain's going to send an army to this town to secure the keep. They're going to be fighting against the fact that they're going to be trying to kidnap the princess. So use the plot point of the villain's big plan as the plot of the campaign. As you can even go as far as having each plot point be a session, be a single adventure. So realistically, that's what you want for a big bad. You want, because, and don't change the big bad's plan because of the players. Well, do but don't, because the big bad probably wouldn't. Let's say the big bad's first step is to kidnap the princess. So that's the first adventure, that's the first or second session. Maybe you have the first session as just introduction to the characters and like a little mini adventure that they go on to get to know each other and sync as a team. So we'll say it's the second session. They hear that princess is in trouble, or they hear about the big bad's plan. So they go and stop the big bad from kidnapping the princess. Now, depending on how crucial having the princess was, the big bad will probably then look at the plan and think, well, I can still achieve my end goal without the princess. It's just going to be a lot harder. So maybe they'll just carry on with the plan. They might order someone to go after the PCs because they've interfered in the plan. They might just think they're insignificant, ignore them for now. So the next session is the next stage of the plan. Maybe it's been tweaked a little bit because they don't have the princess. Maybe it hasn't. So then the PCs get involved in that stage of the plan. The big bad may at that point alter the plan a bit because more of their plan has been, but it's not too much. They may then send the bounty hunters after the players because they've now interfered twice. So that's big bad. Big bad will do everything in their power to stick with their original plan. Because once you change one aspect, well, as any PC knows, once you change one aspect of a plan, everything can just fall apart and change from then on until you're left with no plan. So, but then if we go at the next level, the second in command, they may or may not know as much of, they'll know as much of the plan as the big bad has told them. They might know it all, they might know the first part of it, they'll at least know the next immediate step. So say we're back to the second session, the big bad's probably ordered troops to go secure the princess. The second in command will probably be the one who orders that because the big bad's keeping out of it. And he'll probably know why the big bad needs the princess. May even know the contingency plan if they don't get the princess. So he's kind of getting lower to like ground level plans, more precise plans. The second in command is probably the one that figures out the details of the plan more than the big bad. Second in command has to figure out the kind of troops they need to send, where they need to send them. But then they rely on the next level down, the generals, lieutenant level, to carry out to to fully carry out the plan, they send them, they're either the actual lieutenants and generals of the army and troops, so they're the ones figuring out exactly how they're going to get into the town, how they're going to get the princess out, exactly like the squads and all that. If they're the bounty hunter or the enemy adventure team that like I talked about, they'll be out there. They're the ones who will physically be tracking the PCs. They're the ones who will be searching for clues, talking to people in towns and that, asking for, maybe even spreading the message that the PCs are the bad guys, spreading that kind of message. And then we get to the minion level, and this is where you get to the no plan kind of guys. They know nothing of the grand plan. They probably don't even know the step that they're at, the step that they're a part of. They don't know. All they've been told, go attack this town. Maybe each individual troop or group of minions has been told a different thing. Or your job is to go attack the keep. Your job is to go block the exits to the town. Your job is to get in there and get the princess. They don't know why they're getting the princess. They probably don't care why they're getting the princess. They don't care why they're attacking this town. They're doing it because they've been ordered to, basically. So that's the 4 levels, and the 4 levels of four levels, and the 4 levels of planning. As I said, the big bad is your campaign. Whatever the big bad's planned is your campaign. Obviously, amend it if you to involve the players, like to represent that the players have affected the big bad, are actually affecting the world. So whether that's in the big bad's overall plan or the second in command with the details, maybe the second in command has to change the details of the plan to account for the PCs constantly getting involved. So the big bad hasn't changed their plan. Their plan is still the step. We're doing it this way. But the second in command is looking at those steps and going, right, the PCs will probably get involved here. They will probably try and stop us. So we need something else in there to stop them. So yeah, I think that's planning covered. If anyone's got any questions or issues with what I've said, then please, by all means, bring them up in the comments. I'd be happy to discuss it more with you, either in the comments below or in the Absolute Tabletop group I'm a part of. You can bring them up in there and I'll talk to you more about them, or message me, or whatever you want to do. As long as you like, share and subscribe to this video, message me however you want. I'm happy to talk to anyone. So anyway, the next part of the video I wanted to talk about was perspective. Now, I'm not going to talk a great deal about this because it's going to come up in tomorrow's video, and I don't want to repeat myself too much over the videos, especially with them being subsequent days. So really, what I mean by perspective is, well, basically the same as the planning as far as the villains are concerned, because as I said, the big bad, they've got their steps to this plan. I mean, not many actual big bads write their steps down, have a big board saying step 1, do this, step 2. Some might. Yeah, sorry, I just have to crawl under actual branch. But your players might actually come across like a big board with their master plan written on, if they're lucky. Doesn't happen much, but they could. So, but from his perspective, or her perspective, or whoever your big bad is, from their perspective, it's as long as those steps are complete, it's done. It's job well done. They can move on. They don't care how they get completed. Some steps might not even need to be completed to do, but it's kind of a bonus if they are. Like capturing the princess might not be needed, but it makes the plan a lot easier if they do. So as long as the step with the second in command, they're more concerned with pleasing their master, their friend, however they see the big bad. So from their perspective, everything has to go to plan. However he's planned the details, it has to go as the details say, otherwise it's a failure. If something goes wrong, it's a failure. The general level, maybe, well, as long as the mission's complete, they get paid, they're happy. If their troops come back alive, bonus, as long as the mission's complete. And the minion level, they're pretty much being ordered to be there probably until death. So they will fight with their life and for their life. So they don't really care about the plan as long as they survive the encounter. That's all they care about. That's their perspective of it all. And we could get into good and evil alignment on perspective. The villain possibly perceives themselves as the good guy of it. As, oh, I'm taking over this kingdom because they are using up all the resources of the world. They are using an obscene amount of resources for what their population needs. So I'm going to take over, I'm going to rule them and save the planet in the long run. Or something like that. Maybe they have what they see as good intentions, they're just going it the wrong way. But obviously the PCs will see them as the villain because and the second in command will see his boss, or however he sees the big bad, will see him as the good guy, the one to follow. His plan is going to bring greatness to the world. It's going to improve the world. If we go back to yesterday, maybe he's going to have his homeland saved or whatever. So perspective is a lot of things. You can look at it like what's their perspective on how they perceive the success of the plan, or the PCs, their perspective in terms of the success of the plan is all of the main villains' plans, all the big bad's plan has failed. Or maybe their perspective of success is the last step has failed. The big bad can get through all those steps, but as long as the last one is failed, as long as they beat the big bad before the last step is completed, they've won. So in that sense, the big bad could slaughter countless towns and cities of the kingdom, but as long as the capital is safe and the king is alive, then they've succeeded. Maybe that's how they see that they've succeeded. Anyway, I'm going to call an end to today's video on this dark and miserable day. So until tomorrow, please share, subscribe and like, and ask me any questions you have, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Bye.